Hey everybody, you can see that I'm working on a brand new piece. The dog that I've been working on that is done. The only thing I have left to do is put that in the frame. One of the things that I do when I am working on one of these pieces is I will go out to Michael's or I'll go to Hobby Lobby and I will buy a mat. So that way when I do this piece, like this piece right here that I'm working on, this is already pre-measured that this will fit into a mat. So that way when I give it to them, I give it to them in the mat, which helps keep it protected, but also it keeps the costs down for the client. What it is that I try, if I were to just do it at like a whatever size, like an 11 by 17, okay? They don't make mats that are 11-17. The closest mat they make is a 14 by 17. So if I were to do 11 by 17, they got to go and they get a customized frame, and it costs them more money. And I try to keep the costs down for my clients. So whenever you see me working on one of these portraits, one of the last things I do is I will tape it up into a mat. So that way all they gotta do is go to a Michael's, go to a Hobby Lobby, go to a framing place, and they can buy a pre-made frame. They can even go to Walmart if they want. But what that does is it keeps their costs down, and that enables me to retain them as repeat clients. So that's the reason why sometimes you look at the size. Why is he working at that size? Is because that is the pre-cut size for the mat that it will go into. By doing it that way also, it helps me gauge prices. So if I have someone comes up to me while I'm working on, say, this piece right here, and they're like, well, how much would it be for me to get a piece like that? I can quickly, okay, if it's this size mat, it's this cost. If it's this size mat, it's this cost. And it helps me be able to quote prices to them relatively quickly. Um, there's other determining factors when I do these. For starters, like this here is a high school graduate. Okay, I can give her the same price as somebody who wants like their Aunt Irma being done. Okay, whereas when I get somebody who goes, "Can you do my grandson?" Well, how old's your grandson? He's 3. Okay. I will tell you right now, if you're having me do a child under the age of 10, there's going to be there's going to be an increased price. Why? Because there's less facial definition. Kids all look the goddamn same, especially if you get one that's like a 2-year-old or even like an infant. Oh God, there's absolutely they're round plush balls. They get round, 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 round. There's no definition of makes them look different from any other goddamn baby there is. So that's the reason why like someone asked me like dog, it doesn't matter. Dog's easy. It's reached the point that I've done so many freaking dogs and cats and pets that doing a dog is easy compared to doing a person. So and so that's the reason why I do what I do. And also the reason you see I'm wearing one of those little drawing gloves. The reason why I'm wearing the drawing glove is because this paper that I'm working on has a tooth to it. Because it has a tooth to it, you get a lot more smearing. Now, even though you can tell just by looking at the drawing that I don't put a lot of tone in, there's still a lot of pencil work. There's just enough pencil work that the pencil lines smear, which will affect me when I go to do, let's say I do this area here. It's going to be harder if all of it's all smudged as opposed to over here. So you wear the glove to protect the paper and protect the pencil lines. What it also helps, though, is, remember, I'm doing it. See, take notice how I'm doing the inking. I'm pulling away from myself. That way, just like drawing, you pull away from yourself. Same thing goes with inking. That's where you get that nice smooth line, which is what you want when you're doing like these thick black areas of hair. Same thing goes when you're doing like this stuff here. You want to be able to work away from yourself. So, I'll go like this. So, see how I'm going very, oh, sorry guys. So, see how I'm going very light? Okay. I'm going really light, but I'm going right beside stuff. By doing it like this, you get that sense of each individual hair, even though you're not doing each individual blade of hair. Okay. Now, the other thing with this is by pulling away from yourself, you have to do it because also you have to almost angle the nib. You can't angle the nib so it's like this, and you got to be able to almost have it so you're like here. So if this type of paper catches the nib, it restricts the ink flow. So that's the reason why you have the glove helps you, like, because you're going all over it. Another example is, and Gary talks a lot about this, is when you're inking. Okay, when you're inking, you'll turn the art piece around. So like here, I want all these lines to have the same flow. So I will come in here, and now I got the piece upside down, and you just continue to pull away from yourself as you will ink it. Now, if anybody watches Gary when he talks about how he inks, and then you take a look at his finished pieces, such as his book, Brush with Destiny, he does the same thing where he won't put much in the line work in the details of the face. Why? Because you're creating all the detail is being created with tone. He does it with cross-hatching. I'm doing it with stippling. Okay? Gary's shown how when he does, because he's doing cross-hatching, even though he does very fine cross-hatching, really what you got there is you've got a higher contrast of light and dark. Whereas with me, because I'm doing the stippling, I get into much more fine dots. So you take a look here. This is be a highlight. This is like a light tone. You've got WWW. These spots here is where your white will be. Gary would have much more white in the face. Gary would also most likely, the background here would be completely black to help the face pop. Because I'm not going to make the background black, I've got to work, I have to do much more layering and have, whereas Gary might have 3-4 tones, I'm creating up to 7 to 8 different tones with the leveling of the dots on the image. So, perfect example is right here. That is going to be all white. Okay, so this area here is white, and then this area here, where a dimple is, that'll be much more tone. And that tone, it won't be it. Gary would probably have that the dimple part. He would do it so it's the same level of intensity of black as here. I won't. It'll be dark. But it won't be like jet black dark. So that's just the way you do it, and that's the reason why also you take a look here. This black area, instead of doing a solid black, I do it this way as if I'm doing each strand of hair. And that way, this black area, there's depth within that black area. So just to give you an idea of why I do it and how I do it. So how I create the image through the process of creating the dots. Now, again, you look at this face, and it looks like it's been traced. And the answer is yes, it is. I will work this up on a regular sheet of paper. Many times this be smaller than this. I just work out all the details and everything. Then what I'll do, slap a sheet of tracing paper over it, trace what I need, blow it up to the size I need, and then light box it onto this sheet of paper. That's the reason why so much of this in the face and the hair here looks like it's light boxed and has this, and you can tell that because it's got the same depth of line. The line work is depth, okay? Whereas over here, a lot of times the hair, I'll block out shapes and then using the image of the face, such as here, okay? So you see here, okay, let's pull this up. So you can see how I'm then, what I'll do is I've create the shapes, then I'll go in and draw the detail of the hair. So that gives me, I don't want to do the hair exactly as you see it here. I just want to give I just need to create the shape, this shape here, this shape here, this shape here. Reason being is when the client gets this, okay, they're going to see the shapes. Then when they look at this image, they're like, oh my God, he drew it exactly. No, I didn't draw it exactly. Your brain is filling in the spaces, that filling in those details that I didn't do. So, but that's just a quick breakdown of how I do it and why I do what I do when I'm stippling. You're going to see me working on this piece at least when I do my video tomorrow. And if I do a video on Christmas Day, it'll be on this face. This face, I held this one off for last to do because, quite honestly, the dogs can be much more of a handful. And here you're just doing much more blending, whereas there's not a lot of blending with the dogs. But at the same time also, because there's so much hair on dogs, you got to, believe it or not, if you can get that push and pull of light and dark or of the coat of hair on a dog, that's just as identifiable to the personality of the dog as making sure you get the dimples in the right spot of a person. So another thing also, this is a question. So like Marcus, Citizen Ronan, I know you guys like to watch my videos. Do me a favor, and any artist that's watching this video, my question for you guys, if you could put it in the comments, and if you could like the video, but in the comments, tell me, when it comes to doing the eyes, do you wait and do the eyes as you're doing the piece, or do you do the eyes last? Because I found myself that I generally have to wait to the very end, and the very last thing I do is the eyes. And if I don't, the face follow the eyes, then follow me around when I'm working on the rest of the piece, and it's outright distracting. So I want to know from you guys, how do you do eyes? When you do eyes, do you do them first, during the middle of the process, or at the very end? So I really would be curious to know. But that's the reason why I always wait till the very end to do the eyes, because the eyes contain so much of a person's personality. And like I said, it just seems to follow you around as you work on the piece. And that's the reason why I do the eyes last. So, but here's an idea also, is that I don't do like, it can very easily, when you're going like this, if you're doing a broad area, it's easy to get gaps between those lines. So many times what I'll do is, as you can see over here, is I will do the hair so it's got that curve along with that curl, but I do it in short segments. And that's what gives me the ability that those blacks have that curve of the rest of the hair. So that way when somebody looks at it, they go, oh my God, I can see each individual hair strand. No, you're not looking at each individual hair strand. I'm just creating the illusion that each individual hair strand is there. Also, because this piece is, like I said, I worked out the side, the border. This is all going to be underneath the mat. I can take this and take to get that's nice, to maintain that flow, go out past it and not worry about it. I don't have to worry about hitting it with white out then, because it's going to be underneath a mat. So, but no, that's how I go through the process of doing it. Now, last week when I did my video, I started the video out by saying the Lord's Prayer. The reason why I was saying the Lord's Prayer is because I knew what Stat was going through last weekend. I knew because we're all part of the writer's room, and he was keeping us informed of what was going on. And he was asking for a prayer, so I was shooting off a prayer. The details of what was said in the writer's room, that's for Stat to reveal, not for me. If he wants to go on a stream and read line by line everything that was said in the writer's room during that period of time, he has my blessing. But any details other than what he has released, those are his details to release, not mine. So, and then of course Monday, discovered the news was released, saw it first on Megan Fox, that Legal Vice's Jeff had passed away from cardiac arrest. Jeff was probably close to he actually was my favorite law tuber. I liked the way he covered court cases. He had a natural storytelling ability to tell a story while he was providing legal analysis and breakdowns of it. He could read a legal document and say, and like, this is polite legal lawyer speak for telling the opponent, the opposition's client, to go fuck themselves. That's what he means by that. Or if he's watching a case and just by a certain way a judge would say something, and from a judge's body language, he'll be like the Y.E. Melly case that he was covering. It was a nothing case until Y. Melly's lawyers basically accused the DA's office of withholding information. And when the judge found out, the judge was pissed. And I mean pissed. But the thing is, though, is that if you were not a lawyer and you did not go in front of a judge on a regular basis, you really wouldn't understand why the judge is pissed, or if the judge was pissed. But he could tell, and he was explaining how, like, yeah, that judge is pissed. And then he's going like, oh shit, the judge just said that he wants the head prosecutor, the prosecutor's office, because he's saying, I want to speak to that person now. And when a judge says that he wants to speak to a certain prosecutor, it doesn't matter what that prosecutor is doing. It doesn't matter if that prosecutor is at their parents' funeral. That prosecutor will leave the funeral home and go straight to the court. And with that Y. Melly case, yeah, that's exactly what happened. He said, I want to speak to this woman immediately. And within 5 minutes, and I mean within 5 minutes, she was standing in front of the judge. And Jeff was like, man, she must have, you know damn well, she was shoving people out of her way as she ran down the hallway to get to the judge's, get to the courtroom. And that's the type of stuff that you really wouldn't know. But he just had such a good gift of providing legal analysis, but at the same time also using the inflections of his voice to explain and tell you a story and add an extra layer of emotion to the court case. That this wasn't a standard hit and run accident, that it was this. And imagine this is what's happened. This person has disrupted and destroyed lives with their actions, and that's what's going on here. Can you imagine? And he just posed it such well that so and so I I did reach out and I wrote to Megan Fox and I asked her, I said, is there any way for you to archive his his Halloween episodes where he did readings of H.P. Lovecraft and Edgar Allan Poe? So that way she can re-air them or just replay them at Halloween time for us. So that way we can still continue to enjoy him, because if you would watch one of his streams and pay attention to his background, you could see that he has a great deal of love for the writings of H.P. Lovecraft. He had various pipes. He had a predator pipe. He had a aliens pipe, and just again, he introduced he had a segment usually on Mondays called Maritime Monday, and he could make Maritime Monday stories involving cannibalism entertaining just by how he told the story, relayed the information of a certain maritime event, and you'd be like, "Oh my God, this is so wrong, Jeff. Yeah, this is so. You're talking about cannibalism, but it's so goddamn funny." I mean, he just did it. He had such a good storytelling ability, and being able to do that along with not just telling the story, but also explaining court cases to us. It was so good. In fact, um, the other thing also I really loved about Jeff was, even though it was a hobby to him, he treated it like a job. He was always streaming at a certain. He was always streaming first at 9 a.m. Then with the time change, he was doing it at 8 a.m. because only in the United States do you have that stupid time change stuff. In the rest of the world, you don't. And so I loved how Jeff was like, I can't stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning every single night, or starting at like 9, or I don't know, I forget what time it was. But he would be streaming late at night in Korea time. Excuse me, hiccup. And so, as a result, he lots of times he always streamed at the exact same time. He treated his streaming like it was his job, even though all it was a hobby to him. So, he will be missed. And of course, also, one of the things I thought he was very smart about was he had what was referred to as doggo cam. If he got $100 in super chats, he would turn on the camera that was low to the floor so you could see his two British bulldogs, Yoda and Strawberry. And so now I have found out his son Connor has started a Gifts and Go account. Now I'm not asking anybody here to whether it be Statistical Zero with his GoFundMe or with Jeff Legal Vices. His son, though, is living in Utah, where Jeff lives in Korea. So his son has started Gifts and Go, not just so he can get over to handle the affairs of his father, but also the cost of getting his dad's dogs shipped over to Utah into the United States. Same thing goes with getting all of his father's stuff. And his father had some really nice stuff. He had a beautiful hat collection, beautiful a beautiful watch collection, beautiful hat collection, beautiful pipe collection. Oh my gosh. Uh, his son could do a whole series of videos just showing off his dad's stuff. So, but no, so his son's he's got to gifts and go so he can get his father's affairs in order. Along with, I don't know if he's going to have two funeral services, one in the States, one in Korea. But he's got to get his father's pay for the funeral and pay for a proper send off for his father. So, but no, I mean, I'm gonna miss Jeff. Um, um, Stat's there, but I mean, he's right now. Be there for Stat if Stat needs you. Otherwise, I would say give Stat his privacy. Uh, but Stat knows, and he's very humbled by all of the support and well wishes. The important thing is giving him the well wishes now is one thing. Um, Being there for him uh, a year from now, that's different. I want to be there for Stat a year from now. That's when he's really going to need that support, not now. I've heard this numerous times, specifically when I did that boy and the dog. That boy, he died when he was in his teens, and I remember going to that service, and uh, the person who was speaking, and it wasn't a priest, but he was saying how like right now they're getting all the parents, they were getting all the support in the world, and goes, but now they're getting the support they need. The important thing is continuing to be there for them afterwards. And so I always go out when I see Marty and Jen here at the bar. I always go out of my way to say hi to them. And I mean, let's be honest. Each year I do more and more work for Marty and Jen of one form of an art piece or another for them. So, in fact, they like that dog and boy piece so much because it's their son and their son's dog. What Marty wants is that piece that he did. It did. That wasn't for him. It was actually for a Christmas present for his oldest son. So he goes, I like that piece so much. He goes, I'm going to want you to do another one of that image for me. So don't be surprised if come January or February, I start up that piece again for Marty and Jen. So, heck, I wouldn't be surprised if Cruz comes to me and goes, "Can you start working on that piece now for my dad? I'll pay for it." I can see that. I can see that. So, that's as to who's paying. That's for Marty and his son to fight over. So, guys, I'm having a good day. I'm going to continue to have a good day. I'm not going to be working on this too much more because we've got other places we got to do because it's the holiday season. But you'll see me here tomorrow. Unless something happens, my topic for tomorrow is going to be the Superman trailer by James Gunn and my opinions of it. I'll tell you right now, it's not necessarily whether it's going to be spicy, but I do have feelings involving that trailer. Okay? And I stand by my comments on that. So, guys, I will see you all tomorrow. I'd like every single one of you to have a good day. I'm going to have a good day. But remember, as we've discovered over this last week, life can be extremely, extremely stressful. And that's why you take it all one dot at a time.